Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. Just wanted to come on here and talk about my experience at the DMV when I drove one of my friends, older friends, to get her driver's license renewed. I helped her set up the appointment in July, yeah, for an October appointment because that's all they had. And we had to go to Costa Mesa, which is not to our local DMV because that's the only appointment we could find. And it was actually 2 days after her birthday, and that's after her driver's license expired, which, whatever. We had an appointment. We went in there. The lady outside was stopping everybody and telling people that the licensing division system that was down, and so we couldn't renew the driver's license. She says it's a nationwide problem. And I looked at her and I said, nationwide? Nationwide problem? I said, yes. If you went to the Sacramento office, DMV, Bakersfield, anywhere in the state of California, you wouldn't be able to renew it. It's down. The whole system's down. And I said, okay, well, that would be statewide. She goes, no, sir, you're wrong. It's nationwide. It's a nationwide problem. I said, do you understand the difference between nationwide and statewide? Statewide means it's in the borders of the state of California. And I said, I can guarantee you, state of California does not control DMVs in other states that I'm aware of. Prove me wrong. And I said, you need to understand the difference between statewide. I was trying to tell her that she was given wrong information. She says, you're wrong. It's nationwide. So whatever. I wanted to go inside to find out what was going to happen, if the system was going to come up or whatever, because we drove to Costa Mesa to renew her driver's license and we have an appointment. So we go inside and I asked the guy, and I said, your woman out there is telling me this is a nationwide problem. I said, it's not a nationwide problem. It's a state problem. Statewide problem. And he kind of looked at me and he goes, well, this is what you got to do. You can sit here and wait. The system might come up. We've seen it where it comes up in an hour. Or it could come up in 30 minutes. We don't know. So I said, well, we have a confirmation for our appointment, but we don't have a number. And I said, I know you guys. He goes, just go over there and sit down. We'll figure this out. If you're called, and this is what he said, you'll be called up with your number. So if you hear your number, go to the window. And I'm like, well, I don't have a number. We have a confirmation number, but that's not, you have to check in so you know that we're here. He was just as clueless as the lady out there. I swear the quality of people that are out there are just nuts. Mind you, I've been to the DMV several times and I've never had this issue ever. I mean, it was pure chaos. We sat there, and of course we sat next to a lady that had the same time appointment. She was there to renew her license. She was older, like my friend that was there was older. So they got to talking, and oh my God, you get two older people talking, and this is like the end of the world to them. What are we gonna do? Oh my gosh. And I just finally I have a sense of humor, so I just stood. I said, really? You guys are going to make a big deal about this and you're going to stress yourself out on what I said, we're not even getting the correct information what we need to do. I said, hopefully. So the guy walks back by and he says, the system's still down. It's not working, still not working. I'll give you another update. He's yelling this, right? So I motioned him over to ask a question. I said, so some of these people have numbers and some of them don't. I said, we don't have a number. We have a confirmation number. He says, well, like I explained to you before. I said, no, you didn't explain it. You told us to come in here and sit down and wait to see if the system was going to come up. That's what you told us. You never told us about a number. You told us to come in here, wait, and then you would give us an update. I said, and he kind of looked at me and I said, we don't have a number that can be called because you said, go sit down, and if your number's called, then you go up to the window. And I'm like, well, if the system's up or down, if it's still down, why are you calling people to the number if you can't renew their driver's license? I mean, I was talking common sense. And this guy was, yeah. So then all of a sudden they're calling all these numbers, and all these people that have been sitting there long before we got there, they're getting up. And so he didn't even announce that the system was working. And then One guy walked up and said, "Hey, I don't have a number. I was never assigned a number. I have a confirmation number for my appointment, but I don't have a number for here that I'm here." And so then the guy starts yelling numbers out. And people are, and instead of using the automated system. So they have us, then he says, "Okay, if you don't have a number after all the other people were called," and there were still a lot of people waiting, "you go over to line or to window 9 and they'll get you a number." So the girl is asking, "What's your phone number?" And and she's writing the number on a piece of paper. So we go sit down, and we're still with the other lady. The lady was behind us, and she came and sat down. And they start calling all these other numbers. And I think our number was G143, and the other lady was G145 or something like that, or whatever. And so they're calling B numbers, they're calling C numbers. Then they come to the first, then the guy yells out, "Does anybody have a number less than G139?" Nobody spoke up. So he obviously has had to input it into the system, so the system would call, before they were calling numbers out, trying to get people up there. I couldn't figure that out. I don't know what was going on with it. I mean, it was just pure chaos. And I've never had this experience at the DMV before. And the guy said to another guy, "Oh, this happens all the time. The system goes down." And I'm like, "Well, I guess I've just, maybe, when I've ordered plates and had to pick them up, personalized plates, I've had to go to the DMV and never had a problem before. I've had to go and renew my driver's license just to get a new picture. But I've never had to go in and take another test or anything like that. I've done it online usually, and that's what I do. I just get it in the mail." But anyway, I've never had that problem with the DMV. I've always got in and out real quick and got my things done. But now that I think about it, I don't go to the DMV to renew my tags for my car. I just go to the AAA office, and a couple weeks before it's due, and pay them, and they give me my tag. So, but I have been to the DMV. I've never had an experience like this. So anyway, we ended up getting called, and then it was still kind of chaotic. But the automated system, they got it working again, and we got out of there. But we were there for over 2.5 hours, I think, and that was with an appointment. That's because the system was down. But the lady telling me that it was a nationwide problem, I'm just like, "Honey, do you understand?" But like I've always said, there's not a lot of quality people that are working out there. The workforce is very, very, and it's just basic things. This is common sense. Nationwide versus statewide. There's a big difference, honey, and you're putting people thinking that it's a nationwide problem when it's not a nationwide problem. It's a statewide problem. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you guys have ever experienced. I just think it's funny. I was laughing most of the time because I'm like, why get upset about this? And it's just funny how all this funding, we could have all the money that we pay in taxes in California. We should have the best state-of-the-art DMV. We should have the best public services ever, and we don't. But that's obvious. The money's getting lost and getting used for other things. So anyway, I digress on that. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.